You are so beautiful with all that. I would love to turn this over to our fearless and fabulous leader, Karen Hoffman, to share with us all about Gateway to Dreams, the story, the mission, all those amazing things. So, Karen, take it over.
So I'm fearless now?
You are fearless and
Thank
fabulous.
you. Thank you. Well, we have been working for several months to redefine our mission. And this is the first time we have gone public with it with this meeting, CPW. When we started, we knew we wanted to help people with their dreams and goals, but we have really expanded into we want to help be the change here in St. Louis. And with that, we inspire action, give voice and clarity to the dreams of individuals, creating a ripple effect that positively impacts the social and economic well-being of our communities. To be the change. And I know many of you on the call, that is your call as well, to be the change. So welcome. I don't know what we've changed this. Oh, yes. We support our mission in carrying through our value systems. We're strengths-based. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Gallup organization and their strength-based assessments that they do, but forget our weaknesses, just strengthen our strengths. And that is as individuals and as a community. Heart smart connections and collaboration is at the heart of what we're doing, is making sure that the right people get to meet the right people for our collaboration. Intentional inclusion. We want people to feel the love that might not normally hang around with us. We want you to feel included. The social and economic impact, we do help nonprofits and entrepreneurial, primarily women. Our goal is to have more corporate engagement so that they can see the work that we're doing with Be the Change, and the corporations get to meet our community. And all of us have talents and capabilities. We really want us to use those. And the assets that we have are around a community that is very caring. I don't know what comes next since we changed it. Okay, so I don't know that anyone on this call, well, maybe, knew Karen Garcia. She passed away in June 2019. And in her honor, we created a Pay It Forward random acts of kindness. And when we meet face to face, we actually have these cards out that can help us go out to do more random acts of kindness in the world. And if you haven't read the book, Pay It Forward, it's actually better than the movie, but it's all about how a fifth grader changes the world to be more loving and kind. And when I read the book many, many years ago, I think it was like 29 or I don't know what's next. Is it Heidi or? It says my internet is unstable. Is Karen still up? Karen Garcia?
No, it's moved on, and yeah, we lost your audio, so we might be losing you a little bit.
Okay. My home's it goes off and on that it's unstable. So
yeah,
we're on
now
Tiffany's Lone Orange. We're on Tiffany's Lone Orange screen.
Okay, I see it now. So it came back. So the Wonder Woman for facilitation is our facilitator for this, Lone Orange, and she does amazing things for solo entrepreneurs. When COVID hit and we had to go to Zoom, she was our rescuer. She was the Lone Ranger Orange. So if you need help with navigating as a solopreneur, she is amazing to work with. Is it still on Lone Orange? Because okay, it's Heidi's turn, right?
Good morning, guys. I'm Heidi Maxwell. I'm with Aspire Construction, and we're proud to sponsor this meeting this month. Our owner is Grant Kruger, and he brought up Aspire Construction 3 years ago in 2019. We're a general commercial contractor in the St. Louis, St. Charles area, and we have been flourishing really, really well. While I listen to you guys with your shout outs of how you're roaring, I get to roar about Aspire. They have just been phenomenal. We built the Cliffwood U Library out in Wentzville. We turned a restaurant into the library for the St. Charles County City Library District, which turned out phenomenal. If you guys are ever in that area, we do a lot of work down at the Four Seasons Lumiere in the downtown St. Louis area. We did their Top Golf Simulator, and right now we're renovating their 6th floor guest rooms. We built the police station at the St. Charles Community College, and we are remodeling their student center right now. But we also do really small projects. We are remodeling Milan lasers in the area of St. Louis and Illinois. And we are doing a lot of Orkin renovations for their pesticide company in Fenton and Weldon Springs. But we also will build a wall, we'll demo a wall. We do all the carpentry work, all the demolition work. We're part of the carpenters and the laborers unions in the area. So if you guys want to build a business, remodel an existing space, do something as small as curbs and steps, parking lots, we're the general contractor. We can coordinate all your electricians, plumbers, roofers, and help get that job done for you. Grant is amazing. If you don't understand construction, he will come and educate you. Even if you choose not to work with us, it will educate you to make a smart decision when you do need the repairs done. It's just a fun, great company, and we're so proud to be part of Gateway to Dreams and helping build this community as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Heidi. We are getting ready to move into our getting to know you. This is where you'll have a chance to move into breakout rooms and network with one another and share what you're doing. We are going to put up on the screen the questions that you have an opportunity to go over within that breakout. And you still with us, Heidi? There we go. So this is the script. You can take a picture of it. I believe Tiffany will put this in the chat as well, but feel free to take a quick snap of this, and you will have that with you. I will give you a brief demonstration of how it'll go. You'll have a minute each roughly to go over everything, and just choose one person in your group to kind of be the monitor and keep track of everybody so everyone has an opportunity to share. So this is how it goes. Hi, my name is Missy Coleman. I own Sage Skincare as well as Sage Advice with Melissa. My company specializes in skincare, all types. We have products for acne, aging, every day. We have products that help with more specific skin issues, and I do private one-on-one consultations. I am looking for partnerships and connections with med spas and dermatology offices. In my professional life right now, I am needing more product and containers, which has been a little problematic, especially with the containers due to COVID, but we're just taking it one day at a time. In my personal life right now, I need a new computer at home. And in the next 60 days, I am again looking to purchase more product and a computer. And as of right now, the dream I have is to build my business and create a nonprofit on the shipping side in an effort to give back and work with underserved people within the community, women coming either out of incarceration or women coming out of divorce that need some assistance. So that is the plan with what I would like to do with the shipping piece of my business in an effort to grow it and give back to the community. So that is my spiel. All right, Miss Tiffany, you're going to take us away.
And yeah, so I will, is there anybody who does not want to go into a room?
All right, ladies. Hope everybody had an amazing time sharing. We are going to get into introducing our speakers. First up is the magnificent Candace Cox. She is the founder and clinical director of ANA Inspirations and the executive director of Chaos Inc. Candace is the founder. I already just kind of shared that. Candace holds a BSW from Southwest Missouri State University and a master's from St. Louis University. Since 2004, Candace has moved out of her passion to assist all individuals by creating Chaos, Keep Healing and Overcoming Struggles mindset. The Chaos mindset uses a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, relationship trauma repair, and mindfulness to assist individuals with assessing, addressing, and reducing the effects of toxic and traumatic stress in their lives. Candace is very passionate about meeting individuals where they are to assist them with getting to where they want to be in life. For this reason, she started implementing her organized Chaos programs in schools and community centers to address the lack of social and emotional coping skills that were being taught both at home and educational environments. After realizing the importance of addressing toxic and traumatic stress on all levels, Candace expanded her reach to include first responders and corporate mental health in 2015. Candace is now a best-selling author of several books and journals, as well as a winner of several humanitarian awards. Candace works daily to be a catalyst in the lives of others to propel them forward while creating programs that introduce and implement social communication and positive resolution techniques. Welcome, Candace. And I am so excited to hear what you're going to be sharing with us today.
Thank you. Well, great day, everybody. That was thank you so much for the introduction. As she said, my name is Candace Cox, and I am a licensed clinical social worker here in St. Louis. I am what I call a Chaos Kid. And as you guys heard, Chaos is KHAOS. It stands for Keep Healing and Overcoming Struggles. Just like all of us on here, at some point life has happened to me, but I made the decision that life doesn't mean that it has to stop just because it happens. And so I figured out how to create a new normal. And I learned that regular chaos, CHAOS, is when we can't help acting out severely. And we all have had those moments where we've done something and we've sat back and we said, yeah, I probably shouldn't have called them back. Probably shouldn't have went over there. I probably shouldn't have sent that email. Just probably shouldn't have done it. And we did it. And then afterward, we are dealing with the guilt and the shame that's on the inside. And so when I created the Chaos Mindset, it was actually in 2009 when I was in Arkansas. My grandmother is a cancer survivor, and I'm an only child and only grandchild. And so my ex-husband and myself and my daughter, she was 3 at the time, we all moved to Arkansas, and I was a social worker in a mental health organization that was filled with psychiatric nurses. And I didn't understand why the psychiatric nurses were doing all of the therapy and there were no therapists doing therapy. So I started talking to the executive director over the company and kind of really helping them understand what mental health services looked like. And they started giving me all of the kids, like all of the kids kind of wanted to come and see me, and I'm like, hey, come on, let's go. And they were the kids that people call throwaway babies, and I said there are no such things as throwaway babies. I don't understand where that comes from. But also they said that they were the bad kids, and I said there's no such thing as bad kids, just poor choices and poor parenting, just being honest. And so as I was down there, I had a 12-year-old, and it's a little graphic. The baby told me, she said, there's nothing to do here but drink, drug, and screw. I said, whoa, y'all don't play basketball or go run or anything. That's all you got. And so I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So I created a step team, and the step team was called Organized Chaos. and it was kids healing and overcoming stressors. And so as I was working with them, I started off with 9 girls, and after 3 months, I had 37 kids. And it was the girls and the boys, and it was the kids that were always in the FINS program. The kids that were getting kicked out of school. And so as I was working with them and having them step, I was listening to them, and I realized, I said, I got to teach you guys something. And so from there, that's when I started talking to them about now knowing their adverse childhood experiences. But back in 2009, I wasn't sure what they were. I just knew that if things happen to you in your household, trauma will deal with you if you don't deal with it. So I started educating them about the now toxic and traumatic stress, about broken parents raising broken babies and different things of that nature. And so that actually turned into a 12-week curriculum, which is the base of my nonprofit organization, Chaos, which is Organized Chaos. And so from building that curriculum around teaching kids about mental health and mental wellness, it branched out and turned into something so much bigger, where now we work with community centers, we work with schools, we work with other professional corporations and things of that nature, because people are really understanding that now I say mental wellness is dope, and dope is done on purpose every day. And so they're understanding the importance of that if you're not mentally well, you're mentally ill. And there's nothing to be ashamed of, but society has taught us that if we're physically ill, we do something about it. But if we're mentally ill, we shy away from it. And that's not fair to us, because, there's nothing wrong with any of us, but there are some things that have happened to us in our lives, and it's changed us. And so now through Chaos, we've grown, and we started as a company in 2015. I started my for-profit A&A in 2012. So this is my 10th year in business. I walked away from my job in November 27th of 2012, and I never looked back. And so being able to work for myself and be about quality of care and not quantity of care has been amazing. And being able to train, I train other clinicians. We train chaos coaches. We teach other people the chaos mindset. We teach teachers, first, like I said, first responders, anybody, because all of us are chaos kids, and helping all of us understand the importance of being mentally well, understanding the importance of being intentional about your actions, and being aware of who and what you give your attention to, and how those things impact your attitude on an everyday basis. The whole thing is learning how to integrate mental health into your everyday, because that's something that we haven't been taught. Even in school, they teach you how to run, jump, skip, hop, how to add, subtract, and they teach you about nouns and pronouns and everything else. But when you were in school, if you had a meltdown, 9 times out of 10 you were going to get in trouble, because you didn't know how to deal with your emotions. And why is that okay? That's not fair. And so my whole passion with Chaos and with A&A has been to spread the chaos mindset, to help us understand from a non-judgmental lens that, it's not okay for any of us to judge anybody, because we all struggle. So who am I to judge you just because you struggle differently than I do? That's not fair. And, over the years that we've been working with Chaos, we've had the ability to provide trainings, and I'm going to Africa actually this summer, and I'm training, I'm speaking for a nonprofit organization, because we talk about the importance of mental health with those who start nonprofits, because usually nonprofits are created out of pain, or there's something there. And most of the time, what we do as the founders, myself included, we're fawners. And so we want to help everybody else, and we want to mitigate, the impact of trauma for everybody else, but we don't really deal with our own stuff, and we end up burning out. And so I'm going to go to Africa this summer and be able to speak to nonprofit, CEOs and founders of things of that nature. Also, being able to just integrate, this all over. We've been able to, be in other spaces, and, just across the United States, and, be able to spread the message. And I'm very grateful for that, because oftentimes there's this stigma associated with mental health. And so to combat the stigma, I created characters. And so I have 7 characters. I call them the Chaos Kids. If you guys go on my Instagram page, you'll see like this group of kids huddled up, and each one of my kids has an ACE score, and each one of the kids has a diagnosis. And so therefore, when talking about certain things, I bring up the symptoms in the Chaos Kids. So therefore, you can see that I relate to this Chaos Kid and someone else does as well. And so I'm not alone in this. And understanding that you don't have to suffer in silence. Everybody doesn't deserve your story, but there are people out here that do. And so, you know, one of the biggest things with our organization is that we teach individuals that we will sit in the darkness with you until you're ready to come out into the light, but helping you also understand that you have everything inside of you that you need to be who you were created to be. Sometimes you just need a little help with bringing it out, or you need a little help with growing some things, but you should never be ashamed of your story because it's yours and everybody else is taken. So therefore you got to be proud of yours because you have something to give to this world. So that's, you know, Chaos and A&A kind of in a nutshell. One of the biggest things that I like to say is that everyone that is a part of our staff, no one works for me. We all work with each other. I believe in partnering. I believe that we are better together. So I absolutely love to connect with other organizations who are geared toward teaching individuals that mental wellness is dope, because we have to do it together. Because, you know, that's one of the biggest things that we have is that people are often in the skybox, and it's people like us that are on the ground floor that need to do the work, because we're able to give the information in a way that people don't feel intimidated by it. People have told me often that I urbanize mental health and mental wellness. And so I said, I'll take that if that's what it looks like, because I take pride in being who I want to be when I grow up. I feel that I figured out what my purpose in this world is, and I get to do it every day, and I absolutely love it. So I always say I stick my tongue out to those people who said that I talked too much when I was younger, because now I get to do it every day. Ha. So I was just tapping into my source when I was younger. I just didn't know what to do with it. But that is pretty much us in a nutshell. We are continuing to grow. My desire is to have little chaos hubs everywhere, turning, you know, organizations into chaos organizations, turning schools into chaos schools, turning police departments into chaos police departments. You know, everybody understanding that across the board, life is going to happen, but if you have the mindset to keep healing and overcoming struggles, you can do great things. And, you know, our phrase for chaos is to live a life of chaos. You must be willing to break free from your barriers, get raw with your issues, reset your mind, and be patient with you. And so free stands for forgive, release, embrace, and elevate. Raw stands for realize, admit, work through. Reset is remember every situation encourages thought. And patient is pause and think. Inhale, exhale, now talk, and now tap out. And to create those skills, I integrated and cognitive behavioral therapy, DBT, as well as RTR, which is relationship trauma repair. It's an experiential approach. I believe that, you know, we can't just talk about it. And Marty's not on here, but Marty and I always talk about how you got to get up and move that trauma around, you know, so that you can process and purge it. And so I'm a firm believer in that as well. So I know I talk really fast, but that's what I got.
You're good. You're perfect on time. So we have plenty of time for questions and discussions, because Candace didn't even go her full 15 minutes. So we have like a good 5 minutes of time to discuss. So Karen, take it away. You're muted. You're muted.
While they're waiting for the mute, Candace, will you put that information in the chat, like where those different mental illness, the 7 different or 9 different, whatever?
The website?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you said Instagram or something, but you have a website too, right?
Yes, and so we have a
Chaos.
website. It's chaosinc.org. And so right now it's not up like it should be. We're actually remodeling the whole thing. And so if you go to it right now, it's just going to send you to a space where you put your information in so that you can get updates. We actually are going to relaunch the website on the 1st, but all of our information also is on Instagram at Chaos Mindset. And because I say that mental wellness is dope, I always post things, videos or different things like that, so that it's something that, we can just keep it in the front of our minds. Because when we think about it, I always say that our bodies are like cars. We always get the outside together, but when we lift the hood, our transmission is slipping and we're not going anywhere. And that's not fair to us. We can't be, pretty cars that don't move. That's not fair.
So when you left and launched your own business, how did you approach selling and creating your own income apart from working for someone and getting paid?
And so something that I did, I actually starting my own company came out of trauma. I worked for a nonprofit, and one of my kids got hurt. It was negligence due to the staff, and one of my kids was hurt, and he ended up with a hairline fracture. And the executive director actually set in on, I had to hotline the company, and the executive director set in on the hotline meeting, which is not supposed to happen. And she actually offered the person my job while I was sitting there. And so during that time, I was actually going through, I was separated from my ex-husband at the time. I was a young mom, and I just said it, after that, I walked out and I said, you know what, this space is about quantity of care and I'm about quality. And so I have to do something different. So I did the research, and I had already graduated. So I took my test to get my LCSW. While I was working, I did the research on, how to get on Medicaid panels and different things like that. And so I started doing those things. And then I started, as I was working for the nonprofit organization, I started my own company on the side. And so I started, advertising and started letting people know that I was seeing people individually. And I started building up my caseload on the other side. And so what I did is I would bank the money from my business and live off of my job. But then once the business started getting better, I started to bank the money from my job and live off of what I was making from my business. And so once I could live off of that, I knew it was time to transition. And I had gotten 3 months of income. And toward the last month, I started using all of my sick time and my vacation time to put into what I was doing. And then I gave them a month's notice and I transitioned out, and I haven't had to look back. So a lot of the marketing, things like that, it was word of mouth, and, me going into schools and, counselors and things like that. Honestly, the Hazelwood School District really built my practice in 2012, because their counselors, when I would close cases and they knew that I was working here, they were like, hey, these kids are through that organization, but we want you to work with these kids. And so that within itself actually really set the tone for me being able to be in schools and me being able to do professional developments and things like that. Just a lot of word of mouth and, boots on the ground marketing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody with a question or thought for Candace? A comment?
I have a thought and a comment. One, just having a marketing background, I have to applaud you on your sheer cleverness of your acronyms and your branding of your business. It is spectacular what you have created, and the fact that you are 10 years out and doing it strong and well. I think that shows a lot of your ingenuity and your belief in what you're doing, and I just want to applaud you.
Thank you so much, because I've done it all with bubble gum, tape, and glue. So I appreciate you.
As do all of us starting out. I mean, you're like flying by the seat of your pants.
Yes.
No, I think you've created an amazing foundation, and I have no doubt you're going to do amazing things going forward.
Thank you so much.
Sheva, did you have your hand up?
Oh, yes. So I wanted to hear more about the Kenya? Is that where you said you're going? Africa?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm going to Tanzania and Dubai.
Tanzania.
Yes.
And you're helping them with burnout for a
It-
nonprofit?
Yes, so basically, there is an organization, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Dr. Renika Thomas. If you haven't, you guys have to get in contact with her because she would be great on here. But she created a organization called Blacks in Nonprofits, and so one of the things she recognized is that there were a lot of people that were creating nonprofits, but they didn't have what was needed to keep them going, and so she built this huge organization, nonprofit, and it's international now. And so she slated me to be their mental health person because she recognized she has a degree in psychology, and she recognized that oftentimes that people burn out because they don't do the work. And so what I do is I come in and I talk about compassion fatigue. I talk about, what that looks like. I talk about, us being codependent in our relationships. I talk about, us often having people that we work with within our organizations and it's unhealthy because of trauma bonds and toxic loyalty. I talk about, those things. And so now I just get to do that on a larger scale because she said it. She's like, this isn't just something that impacts people that are in the United States. It impacts people everywhere. The message is universal. So I get to share it universally.
Good stuff. Wow. So exciting. We can't wait to hear all about it.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Anyone else with a question or a thought? Michelle?
I just wanted to say, first of all, I would love to see this work in every single school. And yes, every police department is helping me make that happen. And also, Candace, I got tears when you said you will sit in the dark with you until you're ready, right? Like, that's just like, oh, yes, everything about that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And yes, I want to meet up with you.
Cool beans. Cool beans. I always say that dope people know people. Dope people know dope people. And we come together and do dope things. I believe that.
I believe that too. That's part of what this is all about, right? Michelle, how would you have met Candace otherwise, right? Like, we have to come together. We were used to coming together face to face, and due to COVID, we don't have that right now. But when we can, we will be face to face, and you can sit down after a CPW meeting and, plan out getting together and working together. There's so much we can do. I believe that actually, one of our biggest problems here, actually in the world, but let's just say here in St. Louis, is mental health issues. People have so much trauma, and some of it might seem so minute, but it still impacted somebody. Like, I was bullied. I left my school because I was bullied. So what do I want to do? I want to go around and love everybody and let everybody know that they're loved, right? And it wasn't that, when I look back, it wasn't that big of a deal. I was bullied, I left, but it left marks on me, right? So Candace, I applaud the work you do, and I actually have some ideas I want to share with you to hopefully help you touch more lives.
Thank you.
Anybody else before Missy takes back over?
Go on.
I just want to know if she's going to have a little workshop about to inform people of maybe red flags on mental health or
I love
addressing
that.
things.
I love that. Jenny Grace is a wonderful ideator. And she also has empathy as one of her top strengths through the Gallup organization, which we're trying to get her to appreciate better. But yes, Candace, I would be interested, Gateway would be interested if you did want to do something. I just read last night on Nextdoor that a young 15-year-old girl hung herself on a tree off of Mexico Road, like, what were her warning signs,
Yeah.
And how do we respond? I had my own mental health issues. And after I was past them, when I was healthier, I
Mhm.
shared with a family member and she was so upset with me. She started yelling at me that I had no right to feel suicidal because I have so much.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the response I needed.
No.
You know? So I
Mhm.
think, Jenny Grace, I think you're onto something huge. And maybe we can even just start among, Marty, Casey, and Candace and others that do this work. Maybe we could create a speakers bureau for them to come into organizations that are looking for speakers, like the the Rotaries and all these different that have like a need of weekly speakers. But maybe we can have a speakers bureau, because what are the warning signs? For some people, it's that they get quieter, right? Other ones, they act out more, right?
Mhm.
Like just different, so that we are a more informed community. I love that, Jenny Grace. I love that. What do you
Definitely.
think, Candace?
I would definitely be open to that. I spoke at U City once, and there was a group of kids. I read a statistic that said 1 in 22 kids has attempted suicide. And so I was in a group with kids. It was 22 girls in there, and I asked, how many of you guys have attempted, suicide? 11 girls raised their hand. So that blew it from 1 in 22 to 1 in 2. And then I said, how many of you guys have said something about it or got any kind of help? Only 4 girls raised their hand. And so that meant that there were 7 girls walking around that school out of that class on an everyday basis that didn't feel like their life had value. But they were getting in trouble because depression looks different in teenagers than it does in adults. And so because of them being easily agitated, they were getting labeled as having attitude problems. Because of them not having the energy to do their work, they were failing in school, which was knocking at their self-esteem even more, and so they were kind of closing off, and they were sleeping in class and getting in trouble for being asleep in class. And so they were being punished for being depressed.
They were sent to the principal instead of to find out what truly was going on.
Exactly. And so from there, I created What's Up, which is Women Helping Against Teen Suicide. And so, I created that program because I needed individuals to understand that you don't punish people for not being mentally well. That doesn't make sense at all.
And look at our jails.
Yeah,
look at our jails.
I would say, I won't say 100%, but I'll say a good 90-95% of the people that are incarcerated have mental health issues
that were not addressed, or were, when I love the concept where police are showing up with a mental health care partner.
Yes.
In fact, I wish all police could go through mental health training.
Yes. And
for themselves as well.
Yes.
What they view.
Yes.
Ladies,
anyway.
I hate to cut you off because I know this is a fabulous conversation,
but we need to move on.
But we do. We want to make sure we give Morgan a fair opportunity. Normally, we would take a quick break. Is everybody okay moving on, or does anyone feel like they need to take a break real quick, or are we good?
We're good.
We're good? All right. I would like to introduce Morgan Casey, niece to Karen, daughter to our fabulous Marty, and she is a co-founder with her fiance, a company called Date Ideas and Things to Do. Morgan Casey was an activity and memory care director for almost 10 years. That is where she found her love for planning events and bringing different people together. She was most known for creating a senior bucket list program where she has taken a 103-year-old World War II veteran to throw out the first pitch at a Cardinals game, a 97-year-old on her first helicopter ride, and a senior prom, which included first responders escorting the residents down a red carpet. Although it was an extremely hard decision, Morgan recently stepped out of the healthcare field after starting her own company. Morgan and her fiance, Donna Thomas, are the founders of Date Ideas and Things to Do, which is a national media company founded in 2020 that now reaches over 5 million monthly viewers. Morgan takes pride in curating inclusive spaces and events. She focuses her social reach on small and local businesses, Morgan has been highlighted by Facebook's VP of Communities and featured on Wall Street Journal, as well as Travel Noir. Most recently, she has been nominated as a top influence in St. Louis Magazine's A-List Awards. When Morgan is not working on social endeavors, her ultimate focus is shedding light on self-care and mental health. She hopes to be an example for her son, Mason, to believe that any and everything is possible as long as you put God first. Welcome to CPW, Morgan, and I will let you take it away.
Thank you so much. I know I don't have my makeup on like that picture you just saw, but just pretend. First, I just want to say thank you to Candace. I don't know if y'all noticed, I was like over here boo-hooing because I personally felt what she was saying, and I'm trying not to be all like emotional, but you know, when Aunt Karen asked me, when my mom asked me to take her spot, and she's like, you just got to tell your story. And I'm like, I've never told my actual story before. And I was extremely nervous about sharing it with you all, but Candace, thank you, because your words is exactly what I needed to hear before going this morning. So again, thank you all for having me. While I was trying to come up with like, you know, how I would tell my story, I kept starting at these certain points in my life, and it kept like going backwards. And I ended up realizing that I can't tell my story without starting from my childhood. I'm going to make it quick, but something that my mom always says to some of her clients is that a lot of the trauma that we deal with stems from childhood trauma that we have not addressed. So I will say me even practicing of what I was going to say has given me some type of healing. So, you know, if we don't get anything out of this, I did get that. So thank you. So I would say as a child, I think that is when I developed the act of wanting to please others more than I was pleasing myself. And I think that started with, you know, early on, I could tell that I preferred to play with the basketball over Barbies, or, you know, play video games over tea parties, like all my cousins and things like that. And it got to the point where I was trying to just please my family and do what they wanted me to do. And I found myself playing these things that I didn't really want to play. Fast forward to college, when I ended up realizing, okay, I'm gay. And I tried to step into that. And I will be honest, when I came out to family and friends, it was not received well. And I ran back in the closet, to the point where it was so, different things were so traumatic. I ended up dropping out of college and moving to Louisiana with my grandparents. My grandmother had me in church. God is a very important part of my life. And so that is where my influence comes. So if you tell me, you know, something of how God is feeling and all that, I want to please him. He's number one. And so, you know, unfortunately, the church that I was attending was not as open and understanding to the reality of you know, what life is. And it caused me to force myself to try to be something that I wasn't. And to the point where I went to the extreme. My acting skills were great. I got married to a man and I did have a beautiful son out of that marriage. But at the end of the day, that was not who I was. During this time, I ended up moving back home. My mom, you know, say, you know, come back. Everybody, my grandparents, my husband, my son, we all moved back to St. Louis. And I ended up getting a job at a senior living community as a receptionist. And I remember the activity director had lost her job. And they told me, they're like, Morgan, you're really good with the residents. Can you step into this position for a month until we can find someone? And I have no credentials. Like I said, I dropped out of college. I have no certifications with activity directing or memory care, but I did so well in their eyes that instead of them finding someone else, they offered me the position. I then became the youngest activity director in Missouri, and also was nominated for the Voice Caregiver of the Year award. With that being said, I fell in love with planning events and bringing people together. It was something about putting these activities together, and then in the middle of it, looking around and seeing the families and the residents with smiles on their faces, and it became addicting. Like, I just loved curating those spaces. So then I end up creating events outside of my 9-to-5 job. And that is where I started doing things like the one of my most famous events is the adult Easter egg hunt, the adult prom, and things like that. And it began going like viral on the internet. I remember my adult prom sold out in 24 hours. And I want to touch on why it's important to build relationships and to hold on to good relationships. Because when I put that event together, I had to come up with $5,000 to land my venue. And I'm like, I don't have it, you know? And I was able to go to my boss at my 9-to-5 job and tell her my situation. And she wrote me a check right then and there. And that's so important to me, because who does that? You know, who goes to their boss at their job and is able to do that? And I look back now, and 3 out of 4 of my investors throughout my entire life have always been people that I work for. And I think that's very important, of just touching on the relationship piece. You know, although I was extremely successful with like the career piece and things like that, I still was not happy inside. There were days I didn't want to wake up. I'll just be honest. With Candace, when you were talking about the girls that have attempted suicide and things like that, I was one of those girls. And it was truly just because I wasn't being true to myself. And it took for my mom to realize, to see that on me, you know, like me and my mom do not always see eye to eye. We are complete opposite people. But at the end of the day, there is no one that knows me better than my own mother. And I remember waking up and coming up with the decision that I have to choose me. And if I want to continue living on this earth, I have to choose what is best for me. And I remember the first person that I called when I made that decision was my mom. And before I could even finish the sentence, she was able to tell me, Morgan, I know you're gay, and I love you, and I'm okay with it. And it was at that time, I seriously felt like wings had just like the heaviness that I had on me had just gone away, because my mom said she's okay with it. And I think that's all that I needed to hear in order for me to get that confidence that I needed to be true to myself. With that, I ended up, you know, divorcing my husband. We are friends to this day and things like that. But I think I'm sorry. One thing I didn't mention to y'all is I have really bad social anxiety. So this is like really out of my my realm. So just want to breathe.
Morgan, we love you.
You're doing an amazing job.
You're doing an amazing job.
Amazing job.
Like you've been at it for a long time, girl.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Although I still battle with depression and anxiety, I now have motivation to use the tools that were always there. And I think that's what the issue was. I wasn't motivated before because I wasn't happy with my life. And now that I love my life, I love my family and everyone, I'm motivated to use those tools, which if that means therapy, or if that means meditation or yoga, whatever it is, I wake up and I do it because I need it. Let's go to a happy note of where I am now in life. I met my fiance, and I'll give you that backstory. Running back to college real quick. One of the things when I was trying to date women, I would always battle with it because in my head, I would say, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is okay. And I would break up with everybody because I would get scared of if it wasn't okay. And so I think that the universe and God sometimes works in a very funny way. And the person that he put in my life, there's no way that I can question if she's my soulmate. And I'm gonna tell you why. Me and my fiance were born on the exact same day at the same hospital. We went to the same high school. We attended the same college. We found pictures of us in the exact same sports uniform when we were, I think, 8. I went to a private school and she actually played soccer for that private school. So we have on the same uniform, same pose. We also found pictures of our mothers in the exact same maternity outfit. They never knew each other. So if that's not enough for me to believe that this is my soulmate, I don't know what is. And we got together planning our 10-year class reunion. And so that's, we started dating publicly, and we were putting things on the internet, which was my first time actually being open and happy to show my relationship. And I think that's unique because that's how our business actually got started. I had a coworker who asked me, they're like, Morgan, we love everything that you're posting, the dates you're going on and all of that. Can you create something to where we can follow like all of those things that you're doing? And that's how I came up with date ideas and things to do. It started off as just a St. Louis Facebook group, but it did so well. We thought maybe we get a couple hundred people to follow us in the, period, just over the whole thing. But we had 5,000 members in the first week. From there, our St. Louis platform has grown to over 230,000 members. And my fiance, she's smart. She's like, you know what? If they need it here in St. Louis, clearly they need it everywhere. And now we're in 16 different cities. And a total of 450,000 members, all in a year and a half. It's insane. And so the business has done so well that I had to make that decision of stepping away from healthcare or, following my dreams. And it took me probably 6 months to go back and forth on what I was going to do, but I trusted God and I prayed about it. And I listened to him, and I left my job in November. And I can tell you that is the best thing that I have ever done in my life. And it's been so successful that the week that I left my job, I actually had a stranger contact me, and long story short, basically say, I want to invest in you. And so now I've been able to create my website, which is going to be launched hopefully in May, which I'll just be transparent. Basically, we got a multi-million-dollar business on our hands. And if I go all the way back to the beginning of when I was speaking about being true to myself and how I even came up with this idea for this business, it all came from me being who I am and doing what I love to do and being okay with it. And so I'm very blessed. And I honestly have to thank my mom, Marty, because, oh, don't tell her I said her name. Should have said mom, just, but I have to thank her because 3 years ago, again, she had noticed that I was just struggling mentally. And she said, Morgan, don't sign that lease, come home. And I listened to her. I listened to God at that time as well. And I came home. And because I've been home and because my mom has helped me with my son and helped me with my mental health, I've been able to start now 2 Airbnbs, now my company, and my life has just changed. So I'm just super grateful. And I'm super grateful for people like my mom and Candace and everyone that is taking part in helping people with mental health. So thank you.
Oh, amazing, Morgan. I am so thrilled you are living your passion and your true self. And, I have a nephew that is transgender, and just seeing what he struggled, with growing up. And, it is never too late to step into our true space. And I applaud you for hanging in there and bringing what you've brought to the world now.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much. And
Any-
I was
go ahead.
I was going to say that, I started off by saying that I started trying to please others more so than myself. And now what I'm doing, I'm still able to please people, but I'm still able to also please myself. And finding that balance, I think, is so important. And I'm just grateful to have that.
Any questions for Morgan?
I just want to say out loud, I already sent her a personal message, but I want to say it in front of everybody. Like, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
It is, it's really hard to embrace your story and give it to other people. But what I think that hopefully you just realize is that it's so much power in your story, and it's so much healing in your story, not just for you, but for other people. And so you continue to stand tall and stand proud in who you are, baby, because you are everything that you are supposed to be. And because you are standing strong in who you are, you're giving others the courage to do the same thing. So other people's healing are inside of you. So I'm so proud of you. I am. And you did it. You pushed past your social anxiety, baby, and you just did amazing. So
Thank
that's
you.
all I want to say is I'm proud.
Thank
I
you.
don't think there's anybody on this call that would have known this would be, one of your first times to share,
Yeah.
right? I know when I had 2 years of mental issues, that when I finally felt safe with someone to share it, it felt like it was just a relief for someone to know where I was. I called the suicide hotline twice, and I'm glad it was there. I had it all figured out what I was going to do, and I didn't want to die. That was my thing, is I didn't want to die. I just wanted the pain to go away, because I love my life. I love people, but the pain wouldn't go away. So I applaud. And to me, Morgan, what you're doing, and Candace, what you're doing, and even me by speaking it, maybe we can take away some of the shame, because the biggest problem, I believe, is the shame. When somebody commits suicide, I can't say there's something personal in my life, but it is deemed so shameful. And it was not, that person was in pain. And as a world, if we don't get comfortable with mental illness, it's never going to go away. We're never going to help one another. So I think it's really interesting that both of you spoke on that today too. Like, isn't that, Candace, I knew you were going to talk about building your business. Morgan, I didn't know what you were going to speak about, because your mom pulled this off at the last minute.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Anybody have a question or a thought or a comment for Morgan? Sheva?
Morgan, oh my God, I had no idea that Dr. Marty was hiding you in her home, and I never got to meet you. Ah, you're a little firecracker. I love you.
Thank
And I had no idea you were behind the dating in St. Louis, dating ideas
Yeah.
in St. Louis. And um, I use that website. I'm on it. I've been using that website for years. Never knew it was you. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited. You are really gonna rock this.
She's our billionaire.
You this is a brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Brilliant. And I really think that Facebook is wise to get in touch with you and harness your amazing talents.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you that when I left in November, I think December is the first time Facebook contacted me, and they have literally taken me under their wings, and it's been insane. So hopefully this call later goes good too. They have another project they want us to do. So
Have you ever heard the quote, "Leap and the net will appear"?
no,
You
but I
you
feel
leaped you leaped from your job and the net appeared, right? And Sheva, Marty wasn't hiding her. Morgan's out there doing her own thing.
Oh no, I'm just
I didn't know
busy.
what you meant.
Yeah, Morgan's got her groove
I'm just
going
being
on.
silly.
So
But one of the things that I just want to share is that when you have that bubbling up, like when you're feeling that anxiety, kind of wherever you feel it in your body, that's not a negative thing. That's God calling you. That's God's telephone call saying, Morgan, you're doing something so amazing and I want to be part of it. So just breathe that down, just like you did on the call today. Keep doing that. Breathe that down and channel it into the earth and let it go, because you've got to make space for that God energy, because that means you're doing something amazing and great, and you're making space for that God spark to play with you, because that's how the divine creator gets to experience life.
I received that. Thank you.
anybody else with a comment?
Well, we're a little behind. So I would say if you want to get in touch with Morgan, definitely reach out to her via the chat, and I believe our fabulous Tiffany has put everybody's info in there. So Karen, I'm going to let you share about Dream Tank and what that is about, and then we'll let
And Morgan, I want to talk to you about Be the Change and how we can host an event each time an issue comes out. So we can be the change. Okay. So Candace is actually, we're going to brainstorm about chaos for our Dream Tank. And what Dream Tank is just an opportunity for us to bubble up with our ideas for someone's dream. So Candace, what is something that you're organizing? Well, we need the house, right? That's one thing. What else do you need? And let's brainstorm. Unmute. I want that easy button. Mute, unmute.
I guess that would be the first thing I would like to unmute. You know, one of the things that I would really like to do, like I know that mental health isn't something that people can always afford. And so because of that, I would like to be able to have funding available for people to receive mental health services or the different workshops and things that I do for free. You know, I do before COVID started, I did daycations where I would do chaos moms daycations just for moms. And I would have like a masseuse come in. I would have someone that did meditation. We would do a raw session, which is our therapy group session. We would have, you know, dinner and things like that prepared, and we would all come together. I did it for the kids. I did it for the teens. You know, I did it for the dads. I did one for our chaos cops, just across the board. And so, you know, learning how to build sponsors and sponsorships, and learning how to fundraise and, you know, build that, you know, that type of network is important for me. I'm a social worker, so I'm not good with asking for money. And I always try to figure out how to do it on my own. But, you know, like I said, Ameren doesn't take empathy, so I can't fund everything. And, you know, I'm good with, you know, we do get grant funding and things like that. But sometimes when you are getting grant funding and it's federal funding and, you know, things of that nature, it kind of limits what you're able to do. And I am an outside of the box type of thinker. And so, you know, I just would like for money not to be a reason why someone can't receive the services that we are offering. So that's it in a nutshell.
Well, I said I want you to connect with Kathy Lambert. Their organization over 20 years raised $43 million, but in the last 6 years, they raised $23 million. They made mistakes, they learned, they grew. I don't know if you know, and I don't know if anybody else here is, but did you know that like Boeing has a matching employee grant? So like, or a donation. So if an employee donates $500 to you, Boeing will match it. There's lots of organizations that match. I didn't know this. I've had this nonprofit since 2014, 2013 we started, and I didn't know those kind of things. So there is money out there. There's also ways to hire people through different programs. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I just got God bumps, goosebumps. One of my friends, Margot Sutter, rescues racehorses from slaughterhouses.
Mm.
And they have done programs with kids and the horses for therapy.
Equine therapy.
Like equine, yeah.
Uh-huh.
They also have a veterans program, but I need to connect the two of you. You will love Margot. You will love, in fact, they're having a pancake breakfast. I think it's, I don't remember what day, it's in early April. In fact, Morgan, maybe I should be letting you know when, you know, things are coming up that I know about, and they may fit or not fit.
Well, you know, we're their media partner now. So I promote all
Margo?
the stuff in the group. Yeah.
Did you connect through Tracy?
Marissa.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. They're a social media person, I believe. But that's how they were able to get, they normally, she said, gets like 200 something people for their Santa thing. And we got them over 600.
Oh my gosh.
For Christmas.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's so many nonprofits doing so many amazing things out here. And if we come together too, there's, you know, even more energy. All right. So anybody else with a thought for Candace for her nonprofit, a home, funding? Oh, do you know Velma Bailey, Candace, and her
No.
summer camp?
No.
Velma is,
suggest.
oh, thanks. Anyway, Velma She's a former teacher that started Torchbearers 2, and every week takes for 10 weeks. She has kids at Fairmount Park, but they also take them on all kinds of trips and, field trips and stuff. I bet there's a way that you could provide some even help for these little ones. They're from 4 years to 18 years.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
About 100 kids. And she's like this one, even though she's got volunteers, and she collaborates with one of the women lieutenants of, I don't know her name, at the city police. But there may be some cool, I love Velma. You would love Velma. She's like never stopping, always going to get money. And she's like the rest of us. We need money, right? To fund these nonprofits. Sheva, any other comments about Velma for Candace?
Velma is always looking for, just different opportunities for the kids to have.
You know what? She would love to, how, I don't know how to say this correctly, but when you're going through your training, don't you have to have so many hours that you have to put in before you can get your license or something, Candace?
Yes.
She would love to partner with someone who would help bring her people to her camp to get part of their, is it internship? Is it credits?
Well, we have to do a certain amount of hours underneath the supervisor. I am a licensing supervisor for LCSWs, and I also have one for LPCs as well. So definitely, because
oh my God, right now I feel like that is just like
different places, and just to put them in locations would be awesome.
I'm just like going goosebumpy.
Everything happens as it should.
I know, and in his
The
timing, not
universe
my
makes no
timing, which
mistakes.
makes me crazy. I want my timing right now. I have to, can I share one thing, Missy? I know I'm kind of maybe overtaking.
You're good. If everybody else is good, go ahead.
So for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6, my daughter does something with the foster kids in St. Charles County. She helps get a duffel bag with their name embroidered on it, because a lot of kids leave with the trash bags, right? When they move, when they go from home to home. And so she started this project where they get their name on this duffel bag, and then she matches families with kids, right? To do the Christmas, a lot of people do this kind of a thing. And for, I think the last 4 or 5 years, maybe more, I've had a little girl named Unife. She's mixed race. She is absolutely beautiful. When you see her face, like she's just a glow. And I want to help her find a forever home. I'm almost 70. That's too old to take in a kid, but she's just beautiful. So if you guys know anyone that would like an older child, I don't remember I think she's 14 now. And I'd be happy to tag you on Facebook with a picture of her. But she's just beautiful. Anyway, I just felt like I was supposed to share that today.
Well,
all right, now, Missy, I'm going to be quiet. maybe I'll be quiet.
You still with us, Heidi? So now is the time where we usually, if there's anyone that wants to share, how Gateway to Dreams has impacted you in your life in some way, and, and or connecting and promoting women. So if anybody would like to take this opportunity to share, please feel free. Any takers?
I would just like,
go ahead, Candace.
I just wanted to say that I won an award through Gateway to Dreams years ago, and that is where I actually was introduced to Dr. Marty Casey. We had known of each other, but we had never had a chance to meet with each other. And so that was a really cool experience, because I've never really met anyone that kind of thinks like I do in regard to certain things. And so when I met her, it's like our energy was just bouncing off of each other. And I thought that was really cool. And just, being aware of Gateway to Dreams is really dope, because I love, just like this moment here, it was supposed to happen. You know, Morgan was supposed to be here instead of Marty. This was supposed to happen. The people that are on this call, you know, the things that were said, the healing that has happened, the, you know, the feelings and things that have come about and the ideas that have come about, it was supposed to happen. And so in situations like this, always impact and change my life, and I'm grateful for them. And so I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I have to say, I agree with Candace. Just my, you know, school of thought on spirituality, there are no mistakes or accidents, and everything is divinely as it's supposed to be, good or bad, you know, everything's a lesson. So today has been absolutely amazing with all of you beautiful faces and humans. And I just want to thank you all for joining us today.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, I want to say something, Missy, based on something you just said.
Mhm.
Everything good or bad. And Candace and Morgan, I'm just wondering, like, what if there was a way of showing how the bad actually was good? Like my 2-year journey ended up with me starting Be the Change magazine. I would not have started it had I not been, I mean, in a place where, you know, it was the roughest time of my life, right?
Yes.
So like we could inspire hope by the story of what we went through and what was on the other side, right, Morgan?
Yeah.
And maybe that can help us reposition mental health issues.
It changes the stigma. I'm sorry, I'm just right here.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so it changes the stigma, you know, because
Yeah, people will want to have mental illness so that they can get something on the other
I want to
side.
get to the other side. No.
But I'm serious.
Yes,
Missy,
true
thank you for
tragedy is
saying
true.
that, because I think it triggered for me. I know for me, I do believe that I went through it on purpose, for a purpose. And if we could help others see it as not shameful, but as growth, maybe we can help reduce, and we can talk about that maybe for the magazine. Okay, I keep saying I'm going to shut up, but I'm not.
It's okay. And I just want to make one more note just of that thought. You know, Becky Schoenig is a big proponent of that. Life happens for you, not to you.
Yes.
And, you know, when you live in that space, you know, which is where I have chosen to reside, is that everything is a lesson, and we have something to learn in all of it, and we shouldn't be afraid of it. And I think by all of these amazing humans doing what they're doing today, that it is going to shift that program that we have all been born into, that there are better ways of thinking and being, and it's just a matter of time, and we're all going to be amazing humans.
Yes.
Yes, we already are amazing. We're going to be amazinger.
Amazinger, yes.
Yes.
So on that note, here are the amazing humans that support Karen and keep Gateway to Dreams going. We have Dr. Marty Casey and Deborah Leanne Morley, who are emeritus board members. And, you know, it takes a village, as they say, to keep all of these foundations going. And then we will move on to how you can support us. Or actually, we're moving on to the volunteers. There's a ton of volunteers behind the board too. So it takes a lot of work. So I would say, you know, volunteer if you can with us, with anything else that resonates with you, because these amazing foundations do need all the support they can get. And if you have time and you have a passion with any particular foundation, I definitely encourage you to give back, because that is also a blessing for you. So, all right, Miss Heidi. And this is how you can help Gateway to Dreams. If you want to share this, donate, donations, no matter how large or small, all go into helping all foundations keep the doors open, keep their programs running, and just as Candace said, keeping the lights on. So everything is needed. And I have to say, I always love choosing the closing quote, because I always feel like It is the perfect one every time. But and not that we don't have gentlemen on here, but this one just really resonated with me today and or yesterday when I was putting it together. But she turned her can'ts into cans and her dreams into plans. So I think that pretty much sums up our day today. And Karen, would you like to share about our fabulous song?
Yeah, so, I'm the person who feels like God talks to me and I argue with him and say, no, I can't do that. And many that have been on the call heard me tell the story of about 7 o'clock in the morning, God asking me to reach out to Pookie Lee, who wrote the song, I Am Responsible. She wrote it after Michael Brown was shot in August of 2014. And it had resonated with me for a couple of years. And this one morning, I was just like, I felt like I was saying, call Pookie and ask her to come to CPW and start and sing the song. And I'm like, it is too early to call her. It's too late notice, blah, 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 blah. And finally I called her and it was early, and she's not necessarily an early person and wasn't coming to CPW that day. And I said, hey, I feel like I'm being asked to invite you. And she was a yes. And from that day, I don't know for sure if it was just that, but we started incorporating this into our program at the end. And the reason that I want it so badly is that our world needs more people to be responsible and to own what they can do. And so this song is I Am Responsible, and it is looking around and what do I see? So many things in a state of need. We're going to have it go in a minute, but I hope it resonates with you. We're trying to decide whether to keep it on or not as our closing. But to me, it is about we all can make a difference no matter who we are or where we are. So that's my little spiel. And then Tiffany's gonna, what are you gonna do, Tiffany? You're gonna.
I'll go ahead and play it and everybody gets to sing along muted. So I'm gonna make sure everybody's muted so Zoom doesn't pick up the background noise. But with that, we'll close out our meeting with that. And
I want to thank everybody for participating, and Tiffany for the work you do. And I know Sheva has gone, but all of you, Morgan and Candace, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right.
Have a beautiful day, everybody.
Uh-oh, technical issues. Hold on a minute. Maybe we won't be singing.
Maybe it doesn't want to be sung today.
Maybe it does not, because it's not letting me play it.
So if you just look at the words, it's all about just being responsible. So we're going to assume the universe.
Karen, do you want to read it?
Yeah, and then Candace has an affirmation, but it would be good if I unmuted. You guys can't hear me if I don't unmute. So looking around the world, and what do I see? So many things in a state of need, pain and suffering all around me. I won't stand by and just let this be, because I am responsible. I am responsible. I'm responsible to leave the world a better place. Everywhere, everyone wants to be free. Some look around and say, it's not me. How can they close their eyes and not see it all comes down to me? I am reliable, accountable, dependable, invincible. I'm capable, incredible, responsible. Because I am responsible to leave the world a better place, to leave the world a better place. I just made it different than that, but that's the gist of it. Candace, what's your quote?
Okay, I just want to share the chaos affirmation with you guys. I share it anywhere that I speak. I wrote this for myself when I was going through my divorce, and so I'll give it to you guys. My story is my story because it makes me who I am. I'm never ashamed of what I've been through. I'm now doing the best I can. My feelings are my feelings, even when it's a burden to hold. There is nothing wrong with saying it's hard to carry the load. I reset now to remember every situation encourages thought. When I realize, admit, and work through my issues, I can get raw. I embrace my whole truth as I break free. Forgive, release, embrace, and elevate over any dis-ease. One day at a time, no shame on the days I feel troubled. Working hard every day to keep healing and overcoming struggles. Thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for being here. Love you. And Morgan and Candace, we have to have more conversations.
Definitely.
Anything, Morgan,
Thank
you
you.
want to add?
No, I just want to say thank you. I feel good about today now. This was a great way to start it. And so I just appreciate you all.
Thank you for your authenticity today, Morgan, and letting your light shine, letting you be as real as you could be.
Yes.
Thank you.
Knock
Thank
it
you
out
for
for
being my
Facebook.
first
You
guest.
got
I
this.
appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.